General sense, why is water so important to you?
Well, you can live without a lot of things. You can't live without water.
True.
We have over 20% of the world's fresh water here in Michigan and in our Great Lakes Basin, within our whole basin. And we are envied. People covet our water. I don't know if you recall, but a certain presidential candidate about 8 years ago stood on the shores of Wisconsin. And I know this to be true because I have a son and daughter-in-law in Wisconsin. He stood on the shores of Lake Michigan in Wisconsin, looking across at Michigan and said, he was from a western state, and he said, look at all this fresh water. We need this fresh water in our state. Now the good thing about the bad thing that he said, what he did, was that there were headlines all over the Great Lakes Basin about the governor who said, we want your water.
Right.
So it helped people understand that our water is coveted. It is a very important resource, and a lot of people don't. I think people who've grown up within the basin don't always appreciate it for its value. So we have to work hard to educate people and help them understand that, and to educate the children who are coming after us that they have to take better care of our water resources.
The southern Michigan area, we're very familiar with Lake Huron.
Yeah.
We're very familiar with Lake Wisconsin. Is there anything interesting about Lake Superior, Lake Erie, or Lake Ontario?
Well, Lake Superior is one of the deepest lakes in the world, and I can't remember the depth of it, but it's huge, and it has, it's very deep, and
Yeah.
it has some of the coldest lake temperatures of any lake in the world. People will say in Lake Superior area you get maybe 3 days of good swimming. Now, please, my Lake Superior friends, forgive me for saying that, but
Well, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy the lake.
right. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. It doesn't mean that you can't fish in it, swim in it, canoe in it. We all remember the story of the Edmund Fitzgerald,
Yep.
the horrible storm that November. But Lake Superior is huge and very, very deep. It's one of the deepest in the world. So, they each have their own ambiances, I guess we could call them, their own characteristics.
Definitely like individual people, that's
Yes.
for sure. Very much so, very much so. Let's see here. So we've talked about today about how people can help out with Can you share with us some of the vital statistics about our Great Lakes? I know that we are over 20%.
Over 20% of the world's fresh water. When you think of the whole world and we're over 20%, that's a lot.
Substantial.
Lake Michigan has over 3,000 miles. Actually, it's 3,288 miles of shoreline.
And that's encompassing Michigan and the Upper Peninsula and
that's
Wisconsin
Michigan,
and Illinois.
both peninsulas.
Yeah.
But when you think about that, the only other state that has more miles of shoreline, exposed shoreline, is Alaska.
Really?
Michigan has the most. And Michigan has the most miles of shoreline within the basin. You think of Pennsylvania, it's about a little less than 100 miles of shoreline that Pennsylvania has on the Great Lakes.
Yep.
The rest of it's south, southerly, as we like to say. You look at Indiana, only the top part, Illinois, So Wisconsin has quite a bit, but you can tell I use the Great Lakes shape a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
When you look at Michigan, we are that mitten. Now, the Ukers want me to do this, which is important. But, we are that mitten, and you look, with the exception of around what we would call the wrist of the mitten, we're all surrounded by water. So it's critical.
Anything that your office is doing in the next couple of weeks that people might be able to step out and come join?
We are joining with our partners from the Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Environmental Quality and also the Department of Ag. And we are having an Earth Day celebration at Constitution Hall right downtown across from the Capitol in Lansing on Earth Day. And on that Friday of Earth Day, and we are having all kinds of events. There will be things for the children to do, learning experiences. Little Birdie told me that there are going to be some real live invasive species that children can see and touch and learn to identify.
Fantastic.
There will be a recycling program so people can bring their computers and old TV sets and those kinds of things downtown, Goodwill Industries is supplying with big semi trucks. In years past, there have been several semis worth of old electronics taken away. So you can do that. You can come in and look at and experience Constitutional Hall, which is a beautiful big building and was built because of the Constitution of Michigan. There's a lot of history in there. But so you'll be able to have a lot of fun. There will be a lot of exhibits, educational exhibits, and fun exhibits to participate in and recycling.
Great. Well, we look forward to it.
Good.
Patty, thank you so much. We really
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Peter. This
Thank you.
has been fun. And remember, love our earth and love our great